Thackeray thanks. I don't know why, but I'm totally getting Hocus Pocus vibes from my frizzy hair today. Hey guys, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. If you are over 30 or you have oily, dehydrated skin, you're definitely going to want to stick around for today's video because we're going to be trying out the new version of the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint. It's supposed to have new ingredients that are better for your skin and also have SPF 30 in it. And I'm pretty interested to try this out because my skin does not get along with SPF added ingredients into makeup. So I'm really excited to see how this Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint works on my skin. And while we review this new version of the Milk Sunshine Skin Tint, our topic of the day is going to be the biggest myth regarding Roth IRAs and how you might be losing money. So definitely stick around. If you're excited to get started, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and let's get you zoomed in and get started right now. Okay, so the only thing I have on my skin right now is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Moisturizer. And so next I'm going to go in with primer, which is actually a moisturizer, which is the e.l.f. Plus Glow Radiant Moisturizer. I actually just did a Holy Grail Hidden Gems video, and this product was included in that. So if you're curious to see my thoughts on this item from e.l.f., I will try and remember to link that right up here. So I'm just going to squirt out about a pump and a half and apply this on my skin. And just so you can get a close-up, this is what my skin's looking like right now. I will say that because of the lights, my skin looks very oily, but I think that's just the new lighting. I'm still trying to get a handle on it. So let's go in with about a pump and a half of this to get started. Now I know this is actually a moisturizer, but in case you missed that video, I actually use this moisturizer as a primer, because I don't find it's necessarily the most hydrating of moisturizers, but as far as a primer goes, I have oily dehydrated skin, and when I'm extra dehydrated, which I'm starting to get now that we're starting to move into fall here, it just leaves my skin with a nice dewy finish without being greasy. I think I have the most pinkest cool undertone that I've ever seen before in my life. My skin's not really irritated or anything, just whenever I touch my skin in any way, it just gets so pink. So in case you were wondering, no, I'm not having an allergic reaction. Just anytime I touch my skin, it just gets pink. So I'm just gonna rub this in and then we'll get started. So I just finished applying the e.l.f. Radiant Moisturizer, and I think I'm going to use a Shot Miss AOA F2 brush. This is actually a Holy Grail foundation brush of mine, and it was only $1 or $2. It's a fantastic foundation brush. So I'm going to use that on my left side, and then I also have a damp Shot Miss AOA sponge that I'll be using on my right side. So this is going to be really interesting because this has a roller ball in it, and I've actually never seen any sort of foundation with this type of applicator. So let's see what happens when we start clicking. I think I've been clicking for 5 minutes now. What is going on? Oh, there we go. Okay, so it just started to come out, so you do have to give it several clicks to get it started. So I just did, I don't know, about 3 clicks, and oh, it's like in the shape of a flower. Do you guys see that? It's so cute. Okay, so I guess I'm just going to start dabbing this on my forehead and the rest of my face, and we'll go in with that Shot Miss A brush first and see how it looks. I have no idea how much I'm supposed to be using, so I'm just kind of wiping whatever's on here. And the only thing for makeup that I have on are my brows done right now. So I'm going to kind of rub this all over and see what happens. Okay, so I noticed right away this does have kind of a citrusy scent. It's not super strong and it actually smells really good, but I don't know if those of you who are sensitive to fragrance, I guess we'll find out because I also have sensitive skin. Oh my gosh, okay. I applied too much. I will tell you that right now. This has a lot more coverage than I was expecting it to be, because on the old version, I never tried it, but I did watch a few reviews of the old version, and it looked like it was extremely thin and not very pigmented. But I'll tell you right now that I applied too much. So next time I will just go in with one click and then we will see what happens. Yeah, this scent, you guys, it's not super strong, but I definitely do smell that orange citrusy scent, and it's a little bit stronger than I first thought it would be. Normally I don't apply this to my eyes, but because I had so much on my face, I'm just going to keep blending it and down my neck a little bit because I applied too much. Don't you just love it when you get a brush hair right on your nose? Beautiful. Okay, so I just finished applying this new version of the Milk Makeup Tint on the left side of my face with this Shop Miss A brush, and let me zoom you guys in so you can see what it looks like. It does look beautiful so far. So this side has the Milk Makeup and this side has nothing. Alright, so let's click up a little bit more and apply it to my right side of my face with the Shop Miss A sponge. And nothing is coming out. So the one thing that's really annoying so far, you guys, is that this applicator is just not user-friendly, and I know it's supposed to be an antibacterial roll, but I can totally see how this would get messy. But, alright, so let's dab this on this side, and I'm going to apply a little bit less than I applied on my other side. And let's see how this Shop Miss A sponge blends everything out. I am expecting a little bit less coverage on this side just because I'm using a sponge, but because I am starting to have not necessarily mature skin, but tell me I'm not alone with you guys. When you hit 30, did you notice a change in your skin? So I am willing to sacrifice a little bit of coverage to have a more radiant finish, because I'm not into that whole cakey heavy makeup. So it's blending out very quick, very easy. But yeah, that scent, it's definitely, it's not super strong like I said, but I can smell it. Okay, so I'm going to take my sponge and just blend a little bit on the left side that I used the brush side on. I'll tell you right now, I do prefer the sponge side, which isn't a shocker to me. I just prefer how a sponge looks because I'm starting to get that 30-plus-year-old skin. So just going to blend this out, and then I'll give you guys a close-up in natural daylight so you can see how it looks. Okay, so I just finished applying one layer of the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint, and I'll tell you right now that I'm actually pretty shocked. A little bit does go a long way. So I definitely applied more than I typically would just because this is the first time I've used this skin tint. And you guys, so far, I am so impressed with this skin tint. I think it's $42, so it is pretty expensive for 16, it's either ounces or milliliters, I can't remember. But my skin just looks so dewy and fresh, but it doesn't look oily. So far, oh my gosh, it looks beautiful. I mean, I don't think, just like the Tarte C Hydra Flex Serum Foundation that I reviewed, I don't think you would be able to tell that I have foundation on. So far, it's just looking beautiful. So let's go see how the rest of my makeup applies with this Sunshine Skin Tint. Okay, you guys, so I just went ahead and finished my eye makeup and threw on some lashes. In case you're wondering, my favorite pair are these. They are from Walmart, actually. These Salon Perfect 614 lashes. They have a clear band and they're super comfortable to wear. I just didn't feel like putting on mascara today, so the only thing I have on my skin so far is the Milk Skin Tint. So next, let's go in with a little bit of bronzer and see how that applies over the rest of this product. So I'm going to be using my two dry Shop Miss A sponges. They're the mini ones. And I'm going to use one of the e.l.f. Putty bronzers in the shade Feelin' Shady, which is this cool contour shade. And I'm just going to dip in just a little bit and apply that to my nose. Sorry, I have to look in my mirror so I can see what I'm doing. This is such a perfect, cool contour shade. If you have fair skin and you're looking for a more grayish contour, these e.l.f. Putty bronzers are amazing. I just did a review of those as well, and I'm absolutely loving them. Okay, yeah, so it is not picking up that skin tint, so far so good. Okay, so next I'm going to be going in with bronzer, and I'm going to use the RMS Buriti bronzer, which has kind of a cool golden undertone. So I'm just going to dip once again my sponge, and this is very pigmented, so all you need is a little bit of this, and I'm just going to use this dry sponge and add a little bit of warmth to my skin. This is also a great shade if you are fair and you're looking for a bronzer that has a more reddish undertone to give you that natural kind of sunburnt look. This is such a beautiful shade. Oh, I love it. You can almost use this bronzer to kind of sculpt out the face too, because it's super pigmented and it has that red undertone. I don't find that I have to use contour, but it does have a little bit of shimmer in it, so it's not something I would use on my nose, which is why I reached for the e.l.f. Putty bronzer and Feeling Shady. Okay, yeah, so it is not picking up any of the milk skin tint so far. Once again, to do my forehead, I'm going to go on with the RMS Buriti bronzer. Just add a little bit of warmth to my forehead. And whenever I use a dry sponge for my bronzer, I think I mentioned that's my favorite way to apply cream bronzers. I do kind of rub it up into my hairline a little bit, just so that way you can't see that stark white line of my fair skin. What's your guys' favorite cream bronzer? I'm thinking about doing a cream bronzer kind of showdown to show you guys all the different cream bronzers that I found, because I know cool undertones for bronzers are really hard to find, or even ones that just don't show up orange. So I might do that in one of my next few videos if you guys want. Actually, I just realized that I said this RMS Buriti bronzer has shimmer in it. I'm sorry, it's not shimmer or glitter, it's more of a glowy sheen, so I just wanted to clarify that real quick. And I take just a little bit down my nose, not too much, to give me that natural sunburnt look so everything kind of matches. Okay, so the bronzer went on beautifully, and I don't find that it picked up any of the Milk Makeup skin tint. So far, you guys, this is a beautiful dewy skin tint. I'm going to go back and buy another one, especially in the winter when my skin gets more dehydrated. This is by far the most dewiest skin tint I've ever tried, but it's not greasy so far because I don't like that, and I was really worried about it having SPF in it. But so far, it just looks like I have a nice luminous glow. So yeah, I would say the makeup went on great so far, so I'm just going to finish up a little bit of blush and highlighter, and I'll be right back. So next, let's cut into swatches, and then we'll go into the topic of the day. So first up is the new version of the Milk Sunshine Skin Tint in the lightest shade Fair. Next up is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in the shade Porcelain. And lastly is the new KVD Good Apple Balm in the shade Light 010. I actually can get away with all three of these shades. They're a pretty much dead-on match for any of my shade twins out there. Alright, so hopefully that was helpful. Let's cut into the topic of the day next. Okay, so for the topic of the day, what is the biggest myth regarding Roth IRAs? So in order to understand this myth, first let's discuss the definitions of what a Roth IRA is versus a traditional IRA. So one of the easiest ways that I would say to remember what a Roth versus traditional is you put the word benefit after the tax. So for example, a traditional IRA has a pre-tax benefit, whereas a Roth IRA has an after-tax benefit, meaning once you start to withdraw from the account, you've actually already paid taxes on the Roth IRA. So one of the biggest myths that I'd like to discuss regarding Roth IRAs is a lot of people think that if they have a Roth IRA, when they go to retire, that they won't have to pay any taxes on the account at withdrawal. But this is actually false, because depending on the type of account that the Roth IRA is through, you may still have to pay taxes on the gains. So in order to determine whether this is a myth or not, depending on the type of Roth IRA or the type of traditional IRA account that you have, I highly recommend discussing this with your financial advisor and your own CPA. Because I don't want anyone to think that with a traditional IRA, they don't pay any taxes when they're contributing, and with a Roth IRA, they don't pay any taxes on the account at withdrawal. That is one of the biggest myths that I hear. So once again, depending on the type of account that the IRA is funded through, you could still be paying taxes on the accounts, particularly with the gains. So if you're understanding this far, please comment monetary makeup down below just to let me know you're following along. So just to wrap up, yes, a traditional IRA has that pre-tax benefit and a Roth IRA has an after-tax benefit. However, I hope you understand now that a Roth does not necessarily mean that at withdrawal you will not have to pay any taxes, because depending on how the account is funded and what type of account it actually is, you could still be paying taxes on the withdrawal. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. So now let's cut into the 10-hour wear test right now. Hi everybody, so my makeup has been on now for just over 10 hours. You'll have to excuse me, I'm actually in my Florida room right now. There's so much traffic going by outside. I just don't think you'll be able to hear me. So hopefully this close-up is good enough for you guys. I think this skin tint, after about 10.5 hours, it is one of the most beautiful, radiant, tinted moisturizers I have ever used. I'm for sure going to go back and buy another one when I run out. So hopefully the topic of the day and this wear test was helpful for you guys. Also, I did not set with any sort of powder or setting spray. Just wanted to see how it performed on its own. So yeah, getting a huge thumbs up from me. Make sure you guys stay tuned for my next video. If you are a busy mom and is looking for some finance tips for going back to school and some makeup tips as well, then that video is definitely going to be for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!